I love Monster Hunter games. For some, their complexity might be off-putting at first, but once the mechanics start making sense and feel more natural, you're hooked, and so was I. First with the World and now with Rise, to the point that I 100%ed them, both. And that is what I want to talk about today, the infamous Monster Hunter achievements. Let's start with the controversial part, the Crowns achievements. As the sizes of monsters in these games are generally randomized, hunting the biggest possible size would award you with the gold crown on that monster's bestiary page. Do that for practically every monster, and the crown achievement is yours. The problem is that the chance of such encounter is pretty low. It depends on the rank and the quest, but generally the odds are between 3 and 6%. Another problem is that it's very difficult to say whether a given monster is crown-sized or not. The games don't tell you until you hunt them, so unless you're willing to commit needless genocide against all of the species, which would potentially take you close to thousands of hours, you gotta be smart about this. And by smart, I mean trapping a monster, taking his picture next to a barrel for scale, and then measure literal pixels to estimate whether your new candidate is worth hunting. Rinse and repeat for potentially 20, 50, or even more times per monster. And after spending hundreds of hours hunting all of the biggest ones, you gotta do it again, as you also need the smallest ones for the mini crowns. And while there are individuals that are content with this method of obtaining them, it seems like the majority of people are not. And I get you, I'm all for obtaining achievements in the intended way, and I don't support cheating, but at the same time, you won't catch me here with a ruler pressed against the monitor measuring Rajang's balls. It's all up to you to decide your own morality here and your course of action. Some people mod the game to boost the crown odds or even to guarantee them. Some people even use external tools to straight up unlock any of the achievements they don't want to bother with. For me personally, that kind of voids the whole purpose of them, but to each their own. I settled with the mod that basically told me the size of the monsters I encounter. I felt like that was an acceptable middle ground for me. And I feel reassured in my decision since the next game will finally let you know if a monster is crown-sized when you use binoculars. Until then, judge me all you want, but I'll be mimicking this functionality with a mod. And speaking of mods, I used one more. I'm not wasting a whole minute after the quest is already done to be sent back to the hub. Sure, it might not seem like a huge deal at first when it takes you around 20 minutes to complete a hunt and you also want to take your time to carve the materials and pick up whatever literal shit you find nearby. But when you're done with the game and need to farm 1,000 master rank kills for one of the achievements, all of a sudden every second counts. Even if you capture every single monster that you can, thus reducing the wait time by around 40 seconds, and on average hunt 3 monsters per mission, which is very optimistic considering all the single target quests you also have to do. But even then, the 20 seconds will add up to almost 2 hours of wait time. And again, this is a very optimistic estimate. When the only remaining achievement for you is 1,000 hunts, and you just speedrun an early mission on repeat for it, the wait time might even be longer than the hunt itself. So do yourself a favor and just use a mod to finish hunts early. Because like with the crowns, Monster Hunter Wilds thankfully addresses the issue. But well, if you don't really want to use mods, you can also pick a mission with multiple monsters and return from quests after hunting some but not all of them, as in some cases it might actually be more efficient time-wise. Unfortunately, that won't work for the achievement that requires you to actually complete 50 quests of a specific type. And in comparison with 1,000, it might seem like nothing. But wait until you hear what those quests are. Rampage quests. So Rampage is sort of like a tower defense mode in Monster Hunter that completely misses the mark on what makes tower defense games fun. There's practically no variety in installations, no synergies between them, and no interesting choices to make. Just hordes of monsters with slightly reduced health, hunting which doesn't contribute to any other achievements. Nobody liked Rampage, so the idea wasn't developed further in the DLC, leaving the corresponding weapon trees cut short and thus with no reason to engage with those quests. Unless you want the achievement, of course, in which case, buckle up. Coming back with the endgame gear helps, but you still end up waiting for the waves of monsters to come, which funnily enough makes one of the harder rampage quests the fastest one to complete, as in it, the final boss appears together with the final wave rather than after it, enabling you to finish it sooner. As I was doing this quest on repeat, killing one monkey after the other, my mind was going numb. I was losing sense of time, my connection to reality. I started questioning myself. Why am I doing this? What am I doing with my life? No, really, what was I doing again? Wasn't there a rampaging monkeys quest that I was losing my sanity on? Where did it go? It's not showing up anywhere. And unlike regular rampage quests, it was supposed to be permanent, so did I accidentally exterminate an entire species, or was it all just a dream? If not for the footage I recorded, I would honestly think I was going crazy. But I guess the game just couldn't handle the massacre and decided to gaslight me into retirement. It appears that very rarely the quest list might bug out and not show some of the available entries, but in my case it really lined up to look like a sign from the above. Needless grind is the only reason I have gripes with the aforementioned achievements. It's just a pain in the ass for the sake of keeping players in the game for longer. But I feel like for the same players, the never-ending quest of perfecting the endgame gear is enough to never stop playing the game with such a good combat system. Because it's really good for all 13 weapon types, out of which the majority of people would only ever use one. So why not have more achievements that incentivize experimentation with different weapons? Even something as extreme as having to hunt every monster with each of the weapon types would be infinitely more fun than the achievements that I've described, despite being more challenging and potentially even more time-consuming. At least the time would be spent on trying out and perfecting different playstyles rather than just being wasted. But maybe I'm in the wrong here, because somehow the arena quests are widely hated in the Monster Hunter community. They consist of a handful of quests that you need to complete with one of the loadout presets given to you. In Monster Hunter World, you had to do 50 of them, so it was kind of the same bullshit as the Rampage, but other than that, it's a great way to try out new weapons. Overall, there are plenty of good achievements in Monster Hunter games, like ones that make you pay more attention to its ecosystem, interact with some of the more obscure systems, and so on. It's just a shame that there are a handful of needlessly grindy ones that soil an otherwise exceptional experience. I really hope that Monster Hunter Wilds will do better in that regard. I can already tell that I'll be hunting crowns for hours regardless. Until then, thanks for watching.